stream, Matter folks and Lowell's fans, as well as all of you lovely people here. So, to kick it off, I think before we open questions to the audience, I'd like to just get initial reactions from Graham and William for seeing the film for the first time after a year and a half plus. How are you feeling?
Can we go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I don't know. I thought it was really awesome. It was cool to see a lot of the stuff that I almost didn't remember filming, or it reminded me of filming that I've kind of forgot that we did. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
I wish I'd taken a little more care with myself before filming day. But that's every day at the shop, so I guess you captured reality. I just think, it was wonderfully succinct as a story, but I feel like the story is also much bigger and longer than that. And also, we stopped filming in May, and so there's even story since then. So there's so much beautiful footage that is on a hard drive somewhere that didn't make it into this that hope I can get access to. But we were out there filming one morning at 6 o'clock in the morning when you were hauling traps, and that stuff was beautiful. There's some amazing drone footage, and so I think if you guys keep tabs on Matter and us, then you'll probably end up seeing some of that down the road. But like the story, even now, you're in the last 6 months, you've gotten your license. You got a truck that's as good as mine, you little bastard. You just told me tonight you just got an outboard for your boat that's better than the one I have. But Dorothy and I lament that we're going to lose you in a couple of years to college, and we're very sad. We're like empty nester parents. So, anyway, those are my reactions initially. Oh, you have more to say?
Yeah, there remember.
You've never had more to say.
Yeah, it just reminded me that it was right near the end. You said that I was a freshman, and I'm a junior now, so that was kind of weird. That was a long time ago. All right, that's all I'd say.
Awesome. And it occurred to me that we haven't introduced the folks that are up here besides, of course, the two stars. I know we talked about Gabe earlier, the director of the film. Ridian, do you want to introduce yourself and maybe talk about, like, you've been staring at these guys for the last year and a half over a computer, and I recall, like, when we came here to film for on their trip to Mohonk, that was the first time you had actually met and seen Graham and William. I'm curious, like, how you feel now that everybody's seen it.
Yeah, Ridian Pence. I was the editor of the film. Certainly mixed emotions. Thank you. Yeah, mixed emotions being here. I see William's mom there. I see William and Graham. I've stared at the footage for 18 months. It's been a long ride, and then I got to finally meet them over a year. First time here on our way to Mohonk and seeing the shop for the first time. So it was really a culmination of all the scenes I looked at, all the messaging, all the personalities coming into one morning. And then, we had an incredible weekend at Mohonk, which again was the culmination of the story, the success of William, constructing the story, the relationship with Graham, their camaraderie, their relationship, and then, of course, our production kind of tied into that and getting to know them more intimately over that weekend, just kind of bonding, getting to know the people at Mohonk, too, and then coming back. But, it's been a long haul, a lot of footage, a lot of cuts, a lot of editing. Very proud.
William's dad was wondering how many hours was it of raw footage? Do you even know at this point?
There's William's dad. I think 23 hours, 6 terabytes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll open it up to questions from the audience. If anybody has any, please, because we are live on YouTube, you should have some, and so I don't have to stand here and come up with more. Melody, what can I do you for?
Yeah, I'd love to hear if there's any special moments you think back to that, not necessarily that you wish were in the film, but that it kind of made you recall. You were just talking about how you'd love to see the rest of the footage. Is there kind of anything on your mind? Any words of wisdom that you shared?
Awesome. So just for everybody online, the question was, are there any moments that you can recall after watching the film that were either super special to you that were included, or that you missed seeing and the film made you think of? And I'll go to William first.
Oh, put me on the spot.
Everybody's watching. Everybody at home.
How many viewers, Mandy?
Yeah. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff from driving up to Mohonk that I remember, and I didn't see a lot of that. That was a really long trip, so I guess that felt like a lot more filming than it probably was. But it was right near the end there. And yeah, I know Graham's got a good one though. He told me earlier.
What was it? Oh yeah. So I gave these guys, I guess, maybe I didn't, Radian, a photo of young 12-year-old William on the Gamage with a sextant, and on that trip. So all he wanted to do was play with the, and of course you guys weren't there, and that's the hard thing is, like, you know, we have spent so much time together that there's a very, very small fraction of time that the camera was there, and so, you know, your question reminds me of all these moments that the camera wasn't there. But on the Gamage trip, all William wanted to do was play with the electronic plotter, and there were times when it was a little dicey and he was kind of in my way. And I was like, "Kid, get out of here! I gotta get through this bridge," or whatever I was trying to do. But I didn't want to discourage him. But I think the thing that didn't make the film, to me, that I remember the most is that, I mean, I drove you home 3 days a week for almost a year, and you didn't say a word to me. And I would ask you questions. I would try to make awkward conversation, and you were just like a mute. And I think that is in a great juxtaposition to who you are now, where you're joking, you're taking the piss, as they say, and I'm proud of you for that. I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, go for it.
William, can you tell us about Graham's leadership style? Is he a micromanager, or does he let you walk to the edge of a cliff and grab you before?
So the question was, what is Graham's leadership style? Is he a micromanager? Does he, quote, let you walk to the edge of a cliff?
No, it's very hands off. It's very, you know, here's the basic premise of what you're going to be doing, you know, for the next day, and here's sort of general resources, and then go figure it out. And that's really the best way to learn, because you end up making the most connections in your brain, and you end up figuring out the most stuff. You know, sometimes you find a better way of doing it even than someone could have explained to you. So it's nice when you don't have everything laid out for you, and you have to go figure it out for yourself and put those things together, which is one of the things I like doing. That's why I like engineering and stuff like that, where you're really problem solving and putting, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I have another question if nobody else does. Gabe, I'm curious if you could talk at all about, I mean, we could dive so far deep into the title and its various metaphors, but I'm curious if you can speak at all to Fore and Aft as a concept and coming into this film, where you felt like it was going, and maybe where it ended up in ways that you couldn't have anticipated before.
How much time do we
That's a heady one, yeah. So I think we had a list of maybe 50 potential names for this documentary.
And as soon as we encountered the terminology fore and aft in one of Graham's Dory books, we just immediately saw the parallels there between the themes of the documentary and this terminology of being planked longitudinally, right? Because there's so many themes running through the documentary of carrying on tradition and craftsmanship, and there's obviously a pretty deliberate like passing on of knowledge and skills. So I think the phrase before and after is kind of embedded in that as well, which we really liked. And yeah, we just knew we wanted to make a documentary about this place because it's just magical here. And we had an early meeting with Graham. I think it was maybe February 2022 or something like that. And you said, you know, there's this apprentice. And I think there's something. Yeah.
2019.
Yeah. But initially the film had like a much broader scope. We were going to like interview someone from the National Historic Society, from the city of Amesbury. You had clients in Nantucket and Maine, I think. We were going to have this sprawling narrative, and then both for like logistic reasons and just a honing of the story, we realized the heart of this thing was really about William and Graham's relationship and William's development as a boat builder and a person. So it took us a while to kind of figure out that's what this was about, but it was kind of there all along. And we discovered it, you know, maybe about 6-8 months in, like, okay, this is the core of this story, and we're going to, you know, focus our shooting the rest of the way with these two.
Go for it.
So, William, I'm interested to hear how this experience that you've had at the boat shop, you think influences your future in any ways, at your direction in the future?
So the question is, how does the boat shop influence William's future? Big questions.
Jeez. I think it's made me more prepared. I mean, like even events that we run, you know, we run dinners and all sorts of rowing events and stuff like that. That's not boat building specific, but it's gotten me to interact with people and sort of build those skills of, you know, even translating into working in a restaurant or applying to colleges or doing anything in school. A lot of that has come from here and from having to deal with people or having, you know, people come into the museum and they either don't know anything or they know a lot, but, you know, so you've got to be able to interact with a lot of different sorts of people, and I think that's been a big thing I've gained from here.
Awesome. Anybody else? Bueller? William, is your boat done and in the water? Loaded question.
Oh, that did all.
You talking about the lobster boat?
Yeah.
It was in the water for a while. It went in not quite a month late. I think it was like 3 weeks late. Maybe it was more. I don't know. It went in, didn't run. It came back. The motor stopped working. Had some trouble. Deck's all fine. All the stuff I was actually messing with is fine. The things I didn't do anything to are now the ones that are broken. It went in. It came out. Got a bunch of work done on it again. Went in again. Sat there for a while. Got really dirty, and then it came back out. I'm starting to try to solve the motor issue. I was working on it before I came here, and I don't know. I'm hoping to get it in for maybe like a week or something before it's too cold out. But next year we'll be back. Oh, that's what I said last year. But
How much do you charge per pound?
So the succinct answer is a no. Colby? Yeah, the question is, what's next at Lowell's for William? Is there another boat?
that's kind of a grim. We haven't discussed that yet. It's
So it's a really blurry line in the winter when we have the apprentice program, because William's essentially an employee now, and is, as of a month ago, has a 401k plan here. Wow. I know, big deal, right?
Yeah.
And
Found interest.
and he I mean, he has the skills that he has all the skills. So, I mean, I can give him any project to do and have a reasonable assurance that he can do it. So, it's hard to treat him like a student anymore. And so, what's next for William at Lowell's is to work on projects that need to get done for customers. Yeah, if that's okay with you.
Ridian has a question.
After having watched that, when is the next Mohonk reunion?
For all of us?
For us, or
Mostly for you two.
yeah?
Is John still here?
That's what I was gonna say. You said John in one of the clips.
I gotta send John and his wife up there with the new boats. So, I invite you all, if you haven't, to walk around upstairs in the dark. Apparently now, but there are two new Mohonk boats that are being built, and they're being built by John Harvey, who was here, but I don't think he's here anymore. And hopefully, he can, although he's reticent to drive a truck with a trailer, which might make it difficult, to bring those out to Mohonk himself with his wife and have the same experience. So John is a full-time boat builder here. He was a police officer for many years in Nashua, New Hampshire, and now he retired. He went to boat school and is now a boat builder here. And is, interestingly enough, John, are you here? Good. So he and William were sort of developing the same skills at the same time. And so, I mean, your relationship with him too, you probably have one that's worthy of note. But, you know, going back and forth with these boats, you know, John's been learning, you know, he went to boat school and he learned the skills there, but it's a different sort of scenario learning them on the job here to try to do it, you know, faster and better and more efficiently. And so John's been learning that, and ideally, although they be 40, 35 years apart, John might have that same experience going to Mohonk in the spring with these two new boats that William had. Well, we can all go anytime. Anytime Scott wants to go. Let's go.
All right, then I think we'll wrap this up, and I just wanted to point out some folks that weren't up here on the panel but are incredibly important to this film. I mean, I'll start with Gabe and Ridian, obviously. We've got Tim motherfucking Bradley, Colby Tedisco, Sarah Delahunty, Joey Sullivan, Nicole Bedard, the Tomowskis, of course, for allowing their son to be in a film that could have gone so many ways. Mandy Lawson and Coulter Biot for behind the scenes here for the live stream. Thank you all so much for coming, and we hope you have a beautiful night.